Thanks very much. Okay, cool. I didn't pick that GIF, by the way. So my talk is, well, thanks very much to Alicia, Penny and Joe for inviting me along. Thanks everybody for listening over the next 25 minutes. So it's going to be jam-packed, right? We're going to have lots of notes to take pictures as well. There's also a competition, which I'll explain. We are also recording this talk, so everybody say hi, Charlie. Hi, Charlie. So I'm sure the video will be embedded somewhere across the TMM network. So I'll cover off who I am, what your options are in terms of video content, how I create strategy for my clients around video content creation, some production techniques, because everyone's got a 4K camera in their pocket right now, the types of shots that you're probably going to use, top 5 tips, top 5 tools, and then a thing I call the content cascade, and a competition. So to win £3,000 worth of video content package from Capital Content, all you need to do is take a picture at some point today, tag me, tag the Marketing Meetup, and on LinkedIn, this is, by the way, and write down what your key takeaway is from today. So if you do that tonight, or I'll pick the winner tomorrow morning, and you'll get, it's 2.5K plus VAT, so £3,000 all up. And I'll remind you halfway through, but that's about it. So a photo on LinkedIn, tag me, tag the Marketing Meetup, and I'll pick the winner in the morning. Cool, so let's start. No one cares about you. And before I kind of go into the strategy side, it's more about, it's okay to create some content about yourself. Like a lot of businesses, a lot of people have video content about me, or about us. It's a 2-minute, this is what we do as a product. And then maybe a few staff profiles. That's okay. Stop there. Don't create video content about yourself. Create video content for your audience. Imagine going on a date and talking about yourself. You're not going to get laid, right? What you need to do is create content for your audience. So over the last 15, 20 odd years, I have split my life into 3 different sections, right? My jobs, my career, and my calling. So my jobs, I was like a real estate agent and a factory worker. And then I started to work for Vodafone. So I was a global, this was a massive jump, right? A global corporate account manager for Vodafone for about 15 years. I got relocated out to New Zealand, but spent 10 years there and came back. I don't know why. And then behind the scenes, I was a creative, right? I had a stolen copy of Photoshop. I would make posters for mates, flyers and stuff like that. So what I managed to do is, that's like every agency's origin story, right? I had a hooky copy of Adobe Suite and now I run an agency. Chuck some AstroTurf on the wall and there you go, right? So then my career was global corporate sales for Vodafone, moved to NZ. I was there for 10 years and I then came back and started Capital Content. And what I realized over that time, like when I migrated from sales over to marketing, was that my calling was that I help businesses grow using content. I have this weird skill where I can see things that aren't there. And I don't mean like I see dead people. I mean, I can see the video that helps achieve that objective without it being there already. So if people give me the objective, I can 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to do it today, on the spot come up with a video concept that will help deliver on that objective. And that is a QR code. That is to our YouTube channel. So this is where we make our internal content to help raise brand awareness and stuff like that. Wonderful. What it should do is auto pop up, do you want to subscribe? Fingers crossed. I'll leave that for a few more seconds. Yeah, QR codes, we're about to get 3 more followers, double our audience. QR codes are ugly as fuck. I hate them. They have been around 30 years, but as marketers, now all of a sudden it helps the bridge from IRL to online. If you see someone posting a QR code on a social media feed, unfollow, right? There's absolutely no fucking need at all. Okay, cool. So what are your options? You basically have 3 options when creating video content, right? You can either go to an agency, capitalcontent.co. You can go to a videographer, or you can do it internally, right? An agency will do everything for you. That's where the cost is, right? The strategy, the ideation, the distribution, pressing all the buttons. They'll do absolutely everything for you. So all you need to do is have an objective, and the agency will achieve that objective, fingers crossed, with that video content. Then you can go to a videographer, obviously half the price. but they're just there to press the buttons. So you need to have the ideation, you need to come up with the concepts, and then you also need to have an idea on where you're going to distribute that content as well. And then internally, this is obviously where the zero budget comes from. Sometimes people overlook, and this is the salesperson side, your time times hourly rate from project start to project finish is actually how much that video costs. Sometimes it's cheaper to go to an agency or a videographer than it is internally, especially around infrastructure. So you're going to need a $5,000 Mac, a $2,000 camera, a $3,000 lens, storage, backup, cables, batteries, loads of stuff, right? So I'm going to try and show you now how to start from scratch, internally creating your own content. So then hopefully you will then move up to using a videographer to kind of push up that production level, or even then come to us. So TV network strategy. Now I'm about to show a few things that I always feel I'm teaching to suck eggs, right? And it's all really simple stuff, but a lot of people don't necessarily put the two and two together. So sorry, excuse me, I smashed 2 slices of pizza. So. Okay, TV network strategy. Surprise, surprise, this is a TV network. And what I try to explain to clients is that they should look at themselves like a media company that happen to sell products off the back of creating media. You look at Red Bull, for example. Red Bull are not a soft drink company or an energy drink company. They are a media company that happen to sell Red Bulls off the side of it. So what you need to do is look at yourself as businessname.tv, right? That's the TV network across the top. And as you can see here, obviously we know BBC. We've got BBC One, BBC Two, and BBC News. And we can all agree that BBC One, BBC Two, and BBC News all have different programming, right? They have different audiences, different demographics. You would see a program on BBC One that you wouldn't necessarily see on BBC Two, right? From a business perspective, instead of having different types of programming, these are your objectives. So raise brand awareness, sell more product, show that you're a part of the community, right? They could be your 3 business objectives. And then what you do is you create content based on those channels or those objectives, right? And the way that we structure it is, so the network across the top is the business, right? The channel is your business objective, so what you actually want to achieve as a business. The season, this is all terminology that we use, right? The season is the batch of videos that rolls up into the objective. And then the episode, obviously, is the single video that is part of the season that rolls up into that objective. And the reason I'm explaining this is because a lot of people just go out and shoot a video and come back. But now what happens is you're going to create a video that will always go towards an objective. So to give you an example that we do, so capital content, that's the business name, right? We're the media company. One of our objectives is to show people how easy it is to work with us. So that's our channel. What we do is we create content based on how easy it is to work with us. One of the seasons in that channel, or one of the batch of videos to show the objective, is FAQs, top 10 FAQs, how easy it is to work with us. One of the episodes is that you can pay via credit card for invoicing, right? So we've created one single video that's about paying with a credit card that is a part of a season of videos, which are FAQs, which is then part of our objective to show how easy it is to work with us. And what this does is it allows you to batch create content. So if you've got 20 FAQs on your website right now, create 20 videos. Post one of those a week over the next 20 weeks. Shit, man, that's some of the easiest stuff ever to do. Or try and turn that FAQ around to put the audience as the hero. So get the hero to say, oh, my problem is, rather than you say what the problem is. So that all makes sense, right? It all seems like simple stuff. But as soon as you kind of relay that objective and then seasons of content within that objective, each video that you create will always have a purpose. It will always go to achieve an objective. Cool. Don't forget the competition. I can see people taking photos. So tag me, tag Marketing Meetup. Key takeaway, $3,000. Bosh. Okay, so I've taught you how to build the strategy. Before you go out and start shooting content, you need to know how to use your 4K camera that's in your pocket right now. I speak about these in other Marketing Meetup talks that I've done, but it's really important because this will help you just boost the production level just a little bit. A lot of people forget about this stuff. So I used to say I only shoot horizontal. It's because I'm a bit older. I'm not as much as a boomer. But now what we realise over the last 5 or 10 years is shoot both horizontal and vertical. Don't shoot a horizontal video and put it on a vertical platform, and vice versa. Don't shoot a vertical video and put it on a horizontal platform. Looks like shit, algorithm might like it, so don't do it, right? Always use a rear camera where you can. Sometimes it's difficult if you're doing a piece to camera, it's difficult to use the cam on the back of the phone. So what I use is the Teddy Teddy tactic, is put a bear or teddy bear in the chair where you're sitting, frame the bear up, and then kick the bear out. Make sure it's well lit, and I don't mean like well lit, I mean make sure it's, that one always gets a laugh, right? Make sure it's lit well, right? Make sure the light is in front of you and not behind you, that's super important. And then, if you don't mind looking like an idiot, get a selfie stick, because the phone needs to be slightly further away, right? From an intermediate perspective, a microphone, because the difference between good video and shit video is audio. As you can see, I have a lapel mic on my t-shirt right now, and that's because the camera's all the way over there. If you're shooting with a mobile phone, the microphone's going to be all the way over here, and you don't want that. You want a 10-pound wired microphone from Amazon, clip on your t-shirt, banging audio. A spotlight, sometimes you can get these cases that kind of have like a little ring light around the actual phone itself. A tripod, so it can go short and tall, because you might be a solo marketer, you might be a solo business person. Excuse me, there's the pizza. So have a tripod, it's really important. And iPhone batteries are shit, we know that, so get an external battery. Cool, okay. So, these are, if you're gonna go out and start creating content like tomorrow, fingers crossed, you are gonna be doing probably talking heads or interviews, right? This is going to be your bread and butter, the key stuff before you get all cinematic and slow-mo and shit like that. You're going to be doing talking heads and interviews. These are 4 examples of good or well-framed shots and also shit shots, right? This is good, this is shit, this is shit, this is good. So just to kind of explain, you can probably tell from a single frame, without watching the video, that is about education, right? Brilliant. What's in the background, super important. She looks a bit like a teacher. It's right aligned. It's right aligned. You may know this again. Apologies if you're being taught to suck eggs. But a lot of the footage that we watch will either be on the rule of thirds or center aligned. Good, a few nods. So what we tend to do is, we do a lot of interviews at Capital Content, and we tend to do a thing called breaking the rules, where actually we also put the person looking that way, but on the left-hand side. But you can only do that if you pay loads of money, right? So this is shit. This looks like it's in a 1920s speakeasy. There's a massive gap above his head there. This I like to call crotchgate. You can, fuck me, iron the sheet, get a better plant. His notes are fucking great. This guy hasn't got a bit of paper like that, has he? So, and then this, obviously, this is the way to do an interview. If you've got 2 or 3 cameras set up, lighting, and a massive talent budget. So, yeah, there's certain, like I said, on the video, you'll be able to kind of go back over this. And the key thing is rule of thirds, left or right, aligned, and think about what's in the background. Cool, these are the other 4 shots to help boost your production levels if you really want to just kind of push it over the edge. So B-roll, again, a lot of people might know this already. This is relevant footage to hide the mistakes. So as an example, see people taking photos. Here, this chick, obviously talking about education, we might get her writing on the whiteboard or putting papers out on the desk, right? It's relevant footage. She might be really bad at being interviewed, so she'll stutter, she'll do ums and ahs, she might want to start again. We want to cut those ums and ahs out, and then in post-production, what we do is we hide those cuts to make out that she said it seamlessly. And we use that with B-roll, so you hide the cut with relevant footage. A time-lapse, don't do it. It's really saturated. Everyone loves a time-lapse, but what people will do is tend to post a 3-minute time-lapse. And it's boring, right? No one cares. It's okay to do a time-lapse as long as it's a part of a big hero video, right? It's good for activations. We all know what a time-lapse is. A hyperlapse, again, is really cool to do. You know, it's a moving time-lapse towards a static object. but don't do it as a standalone video because it doesn't have a purpose. What is that video trying to achieve? Nothing. And then slow motion, right? So this is great for B-roll, and it's about pulling emotion out of the viewer. But as a tip, we all view video content at 25 frames a second. If you were to slow that footage down, you're going to see a stutter because it will get down to like 12 frames a second. What you need to do is shoot at 50 frames a second. All your phones do this. Shoot at 50 frames a second and then half that playback speed, and it will be smooth like you would do normally see footage. And it won't stutter, it'll be slow-mo, bang in, right? Okay, top 5 tips. So we're getting towards the end now. Excuse me, I'm going to rush through these. Apologies. So, this is the bare minimum. Does anyone know what the bare minimum is? One bear. Cool, that one fucking fell on deaf ears, didn't it? Shit. Okay, cool. So this is the 3 channels that I always explain to have as a bare minimum on any TV content, TV network strategy. Thought leadership, behind the scenes, and community involvement. This is really easy. Do a podcast behind the scenes. The Marketing Meetup are really good at that. They take a lot of photos of actually what's happening tonight, for example. Take photos, win the competition. And then community involvement. This is really good if you ever have people that do 5K runs for charity or whatever. It sometimes can be virtue signaling, so you do need to be careful. But if you give back to your community should then hopefully give back to you. Hero versus skittle. So this is terminology that we use. So a hero video is that 2 to 3 minute long form video. Can you believe long form is like 3 minutes now? No one is going to watch a 3-minute video on Facebook, right? No one cares at the best of times, let alone a 3-minute video on Facey. What you do is you create a skittle. This is a short form video, social, cut down, thought leadership. You create a skittle, so a 29 or a 59 second video, which is a snippet from the hero that you post out over social with a call to action to say, if you want to watch more, click on this link. You will then embed that hero video on your website, wherever it might be, where there's additional branding, contact us, all that kind of stuff, right? So you create a trailer for a movie. Super simple. Custom shapes. So what you need to do, I said obviously shoot horizontal and vertical for specific platforms, but you also need to cut the footage in specific shapes per platform. So as an example, Instagram do 4x5 or LinkedIn do 1x1. What that will do is it will take up the most screen real estate per platform. The Premiere and stuff like that, the tools that we do to create video can often auto reframe any of this video content that you edit, or there's other tools which I'll show a bit later. They can edit it all for you. But it's super important to try and not post a 9x16, so a classic portrait video, on LinkedIn, for example, right? Because you're going to get those blurred bars on either side. It just looks like shit. So cut per platform, cut some shapes. £1.99. I explain this in other talks again. So we know this is £2, right? We're not stupid. We're desensitized to this because it's been happening for hundreds of years. In terms of video content, because it's a relatively new medium in comparison to currency, we're still tricked when we see a video that's 29 seconds or 59 seconds. So like I mentioned with that skittle previously, if you are going to create a 29 second, like a short video, make sure it's 29 and not 31, because people are more inclined to watch it, just like we were when we were tricked to say that was £2. You don't have to post it, right? This is what people, a massive barrier around creating content for people is they're scared that people won't like it. They'll think it's shit, right? But if you record it, you don't have to post it, right? Unless you're an influencer, you do just want to post all that stuff. But you don't worry about it. If it's shit, don't post it. If it's great, make more. I call it good hair days. If you make a good video, make loads more because you're in the zone, right? They're called batch creation. If it's a shit video, close the camera down, start again tomorrow. So if you do create content and you think it's shit, don't worry about it. Just JFDI. Does anyone know what JFDI is? I learnt this as a new one. Yeah, just fucking do it. Okay, cool. Top 5 tools. How are we doing for time? All right. Good. Top 5 tools. So, Notion. Anyone here use Notion? Good. 1. I saw another nod there. Yeah, brilliant. I've been through so many CRMs, note-taking tools, fucking up the wazoo, right? This is brilliant, 100% free unless you want to connect with teams and stuff like that. But this does all of my project management, my sales CRM, my note-taking, my shot lists, my brand colors, the videos, my notes, saves from websites. Honestly, absolutely banging. Whipster, this is about feedback for video content. So if you create a video, we all have stakeholders, annoyingly, and they want to put their 2 cents in on that video that you just created. Before Whipster, what we used to do is send a link of the video and someone would reply back with, change this at 1 minute 1, change this at 2 minutes, whatever. Fuck, that was a ball ache, right? Now with Whipster, what you're able to do is comment not only from a timeline perspective, so literally on the video itself, but also placement. So for example, if Charlie shot a video of someone that didn't want to be on camera, someone will then go through this video and click on that person's face and say blur that person's face. So it makes it a lot easier to get stakeholder sign-off because they're physically contributing to the video rather than writing a list. This is a really useful piece for us anyway, because it generates a to-do list for our editors. And as soon as you click finish, we get an email and then we've got a big bullet point list of things that we can edit straight in the video. So it's really, really good platform. Opus Clip, this is a recent one. This will fucking blow your mind, right? You can get your YouTube, does anyone know Opus Clip? Good. I'm surprised I'm about to tell you because I charge loads of money for this. So you can get your YouTube video. So you get the URL of your YouTube video and put it into Opus Clip, opusstudio.co, whatever it's called. And it will, probably within about 10 minutes, edit that video into 10 portrait 30-second videos with subtitling, titles, descriptions, and rank them on how viral it thinks it's going to be. It's fucking unbelievable. You know, 10 of them as well. If I got an editor to create 10 skittles from a hero video with subtitles and have the education around what's going to go viral with the hook, etc., it would take 4-6 hours at least. This takes 10 minutes. I don't even have to try. You know, it's so good. Like, I can do it for you. I'm just going to chuck the link in that, right? Repurpose.io is a classic social media one, but this is really good where you can post a video on, let's say, YouTube Shorts, and it will automatically repurpose that video over TikTok without the, what's it called, the watermark, right? So this is really good. I forget how much it is, maybe 20 quid a month, it's not that much. But all you do is you kind of put these extra little hashtags in amongst your hashtag strategy, and that will automatically trigger that video to be posted across, you know. So if you're a one-man band, absolutely, Repurpose.io is great. And then this is kind of an honorable mention. We all know ChatGPT, fuck, everyone bangs on about it for the past 6 months. I recently came back from paternity leave about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I jumped on the AI bandwagon, found loads of tools, Opus Clip being one of them, to try and improve the way that we work or be able to get my staff to do more without paying them more. What I found was that my prompts into ChatGPT were shit. So you put your prompt, write me a social media plan, into prompt-genie.com, and it will write you an incredibly elaborate prompt to then put into ChatGPT. That's fucking brilliant, because the way it even puts stuff like, oh, put it in an easy to use format table that I can copy and paste into Google Sheets. I never would have written that. I never would have thought about it. Now I do. So this is a brilliant platform. It does cost. It's like you get 3 days for free, but then it's about £5 a month. But honestly, if you use ChatGPT a lot, which I do to help generate ideas and ideation and copywriting, YouTube descriptions and podcast descriptions and stuff, this is really, really good. Cool, we're very close to the end. The content cascade. This is a surefire way of creating like 30 pieces of content in 1 hour. Gary V bangs on about this, right? Or he used to. It was like, oh, I create 80 pieces of content from every piece of content that I create. That's because he's got a massive multi-million pound agency behind him creating 80 pieces of content, right? If you don't have that agency behind you, what I suggest is to make a podcast. Everyone goes, oh God, a podcast. Yeah, I totally agree. But don't make a podcast for, we're using the same emoji in our pressos, amazing. Don't make a podcast for listeners, because if you remember back at the very beginning of the presentation, no one cares. Make it as a sales funnel. So when you go to create the podcast and you think about your guests, if I was to ring up Coca-Cola right now and say, I want to make your video content, they're going to say, get fucked. if I say, do you want to be on my podcast? They'll bite my arm off because everyone wants to be on a podcast, right? What you do is you write down your top 10 prospects, the top 10 people that you want to get in front of and invite them as guests on your podcast. At that point, you're striking up a really good conversation and a better relationship than you are cold calling these people. You're facilitating thought leadership with that prospect in the room. Fuck, it's huge. A one video podcast. So if you've got an iPhone, a couple of microphones and record that podcast, video and audio, this is what you can get out of it. So one long form video for YouTube, one long form audio for Spotify. You can also put the video on Spotify as well as a video podcast. 10 short form videos for stories, shorts and TikTok. That's using Opus Clip. Just post that link straight in there, don't have to do anything. 10 short form posts for LinkedIn. So you can cut some shapes from this content and post it over LinkedIn one by one. You can transcribe that video or use the YouTube transcription as a blog, paste that transcription into ChatGPT and say, rephrase this into a 500-word blog. And then you actually read the blog to make sure it doesn't sound like a robot. And out of that, you can then create 10 tweets. Simple little one-liners of a call to action to watch the full video on your website. So 1 hour of your time will then create 30 plus pieces of content. Super easy. If you want to get started creating content for your business or for whoever you are, this is fucking well easy. What it actually does is, I was trying to be all like inspiring and impactful with this statement, I completely forgot I had it in there. What it actually does, rather than 30 pieces of content, it gives you a strong industry specific conversation with a potential client, huge, positioning you as a facilitator and the thought leader. So yes, it's great having 30 pieces of content, one every week for the next 30 weeks, but you've got a client, possible client in the room talking about your industry. That's worth way more than your 3 listeners on Spotify, right? And a bonus, this is the last little bit. So I'm not gonna go over these, I'm gonna show them for the video, but this is basically, can I go back? These are 50, what I call Kickstarters, 50 ideas to go and create video content. Amazing, right? So, for example, comment on industry news. You know, create a quick 30-second video. Oh, you know, the Martin Sorrell from WPP has sold it for 30 billion and now he's starting a new agency. What do you think about that, LinkedIn audience? Bosh, throw it out. That's old news, don't do that. But there's loads, right? In fact, there's 50. And there's 3, I keep saying thanks. There's 3 pillars, because whenever you create content, or whenever I create content, I always try to tick one of these boxes. Engage, so you're asking people to engage. My favorite one is post a fill in the blank. You're not an agency unless you have AstroTurf on the wall, or a neon sign, or exposed brick wall. Fuck, exposed brick wall. It's really easy stuff, right? And what you do is you get all those people to comment on that post to fill in the blank. It all becomes funny. And then you can do a second follow-up carousel with all the funny ones. Easy. If anyone has any questions, I'll say thanks now. If anyone does have any questions, you're more than welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn. Happy to help. You know, what would Gary do? Don't forget the competition. And I think that's it.